Let's talk about human trafficking. In today's world, it seems like a lot of people are talking about human trafficking. What is human trafficking? Are we talking just about child soldiers or prostitutes in another country? Does it really happen here in my state? Could it happen? Or could it be happening in my hometown, in my neighborhood, or in my school? Doesn't it just happen to bad kids? I mean, those teens who are not anything like me, right? In this talk, I'm hoping that you'll learn the definition of human trafficking and you'll be able to label human trafficking as modern day slavery. Second, that you'll be able to determine or decide whether human trafficking really exists today. And third, to analyze the steps in grooming and even compare them to some of you or your friends, hopefully tentative contacts with unsafe persons. Of course, you know there's no test in this course, just a little quiz at the end of the talk. And that's really there to help you move forward to the next talk. The whole purpose of learning and gaining these skills is to introduce the concepts necessary for the prevention of violence in your lives. And that's much better than getting an A+ on a test. Do you remember studying about slavery in school? What words could be used to describe a person's situation in slavery? Some of your answers might be a slave isn't free, has no choice. They can't leave the place where they live. They can't change jobs. A slave doesn't get paid for their work or gets paid very little. A slave is afraid to say no or they'll be hurt. A slave is forced to do many things against their will, and they're made to do things that make them feel uncomfortable and afraid. Can you think of any other words or descriptions? Modern day slavery is called human trafficking, and the legal definition of human trafficking is that it involves force, fraud, or coercion along with commercial gain. Commercial gain means that someone's making money by using a person for their benefit. Using force is simple to understand as physically forcing someone to do something. Fraud is deceiving, lying, false promises, anything of that nature. Like one victim told me, they said it would just be to hang out with clients and make small talk, but they made me do awful things. And coercion is pressuring by threats or intimidation. It may be blackmail, as in the classic, I'm going to share these pictures of you, or I'm going to tell your friends, or it could be direct threats. If you don't do this, I'll hurt someone or something you love. It could be, I'm going to hurt you if you don't do what I say. Anytime a minor is sexually exploited by an adult, it is considered human trafficking. What does exploit mean? It means to make use of meanly or unfairly for one's own advantage. That's what the Merriam-Webster dictionary says, but we can say that it's taking advantage of someone in a mean or unfair way for their own benefit. That's what exploit means. Did you know that 200,000 minors, those are persons under 18 years of age, are at risk of human trafficking in the US alone? The International Labor Organization has estimated that there are 20.9 million slaves in the world today, and 68% of them are trapped in forced labor. Remember, it's called human trafficking, and it's defined as the use of force, fraud, which is false promises, or coercion, which refers to threats or intimidation. An estimated 55% are women or girls, and more than one-fourth, that is 26%, are children. That includes your age group, under 18 years of age. It's unbelievable to learn that the average age girls are trapped into prostitution is between 12 and 14 years of age. According to our definition, this is human trafficking by sexual exploitation of a minor. That's the age of many of you here, and the purpose of this talk is to make you aware of what's going on and to help prevent you from ever becoming a victim. So what does a person who wants to exploit a young person look like and act like? Many experts believe that exploitation happens in the majority of cases by first gaining a person's trust and making them believe they care about you. We're so quick to label a person our friend, and once our mind accepts them as a friend, our boundaries open the door and they walk right in. They may be your age or slightly older. They may buy you nice things. They may say they'll give you a nice place to stay. They might tell you that you could be a model or an actress or singer, and they have the connections. They might say your mom or dad don't really care. They might promise you your dream, whether it's travel, career, money, clothes, or freedom. They might offer you the biggest dream of all, saying they love you more than anyone else. They do suggest keeping themselves a secret. You shouldn't discuss this offer with a safe adult. They may say adults don't know what you want, or don't really care, or will only mess up your dream. By the way, if you hear your friend talking about someone that sounds like this in their life, or notice that someone is spending money on them suddenly, help them to see that they're being groomed to be injured or harmed for the benefit of another person. So, what is this thing called grooming? Grooming is an important word to know. It's a process used by abusers and human traffickers to gradually gain your trust and then later trap you. The person looks safe and sounds friendly. You may have come to consider them a friend, or they may be a friend of a friend, or even an online friend. You may have met them at the mall, or a park, or even school, but usually don't know too much about them except what they've told you. Now that we know there are persons who use fraud, lies, and deception to gain control of and injure or hurt another for their gain, now that we know that, we need to be less credulous or less believing of persons and what they tell us. If we're vigilant to protect our boundaries, then we're the ones in control. Nevertheless, they have a game plan, and their plan is to win, and they win the prize when they've convinced someone to believe in them. Is there something you can do to help these modern day slaves get free? The best way is to be aware of what's happening. Human trafficking does exist, and it happens here and now, wherever you live. A second step is to learn more and take care of yourself and develop your healthy boundaries. This can help prevent you becoming one of these slaves. You know, many young slaves are normal teens, just like you, that have been tricked, or they've run away from home, or even been abandoned, abducted, or removed from their families. This information is important for you, not for your teacher, not for a grade, not for anyone else, just you. It's common for grooming to follow a cycle. Of course, when someone wants to harm you, they obviously don't follow a set of rules. But in general, these steps do help you to understand what happens when a person who is not safe uses fraud and works to build a relationship of trust and then shatters that relationship. When a person wants to become friends and develop trust, they look for things in common. They're on their best behavior and treat you with respect. They make you feel important and do things for you that you like. This is true in healthy friendships too, but healthy friendships don't go on a downward spiral, as we're going to see. This person may listen to you and appears to believe in your dream. They encourage you in your dream. They say there's no reason you can't have your dream, and they'll often be glad to try and help you reach your dream. What's your dream? It may be to live someplace or be someone different. It may be to have plenty of money, or be a model or an actor. This is a critical step. There may be some very good people who will listen to you and believe in your dream and provide support and help for you to reach your dream. If you are wise, though, you will see that the unsafe person who wants to trap and use you will ask for secrecy. The safe person would never want to keep their involvement hidden. That's a big difference that makes all the difference. So I'll say it again. A safe person would never want to keep their involvement in your life hidden. At some point, when you come under the influence of an unsafe person, they will probably come to ridicule your dream and shame you for having it. You think you can be an actor? Come on. You don't have any talent. You're too dumb to go to college. You'd never make it. So you really thought you could be a model? Come on, you're too ugly. These statements would not be made by a safe person. They're designed to harm and injure. They're also very effective because most of us have a deep-seated fear that we're not good enough. And so it's easy to believe these taunts, and the dream is shattered. Now that the person is convinced they can't have their dream, and that they're not good enough, the world is against them, etc., then they'll go along with being used or exploited by this person who is not safe. You can see that their boundaries, which we talked about in our talk on safe people, have weakened. Maybe they're not sure that they're worth protecting themselves anymore. Their dreams are shattered, and they feel no hope. They've not been treated with respect, and may lose respect for themselves. At this point, when they've lost all hope, they may decide that life is not fair, and they may as well be on top of the food chain and start looking for someone to teach this to. Someone with dreams, looking for someone to believe in them, they need to be taught that dreams are dumb. Also, did you notice the STOP acronym? Special, too much attention, promises, talk that should make you feel uncomfortable, offers or orders or suggestions, keep this secret, and pressures or threatens you to do something unsafe or against good judgment. So, again, what is your dream? I'm here to tell you that whatever your dream is, you can reach it. It may require persistence and hard work. It can help you to identify your values and set firm boundaries for your life. To reach your dream, you'll need to set higher goals. You've probably heard the saying that if you aim for nothing, you'll probably reach it. But if you shoot at the stars, at the very least, you'll hit the moon. It's so very important to believe that you can do it. It never hurts to remind students that while you're in school, you're forming the habits of success. So now, why not do a good job? You know you're the only one who benefits from doing well in school, and no one benefits if you don't care. While we're talking about your dream, I'd like you to remind you that you're the only person who will be with you your entire life. That's an awesome thought. You decide who to be and what to achieve, nobody else. That's why I don't cry if someone doesn't care for me. They won't be around tomorrow. How you do and who you become is your choice and your responsibility and should be your number one concern. Aren't you the one it's most important to? These are the most important things I'd like to share with you today about human trafficking.